Cá gì đấy chị?
Cá chạch, cá lóc, cá chép cũng có.
Hello everyone, it's Quynh again. After a long period of unemployment and leaving my office job in Hanoi behind, I was lucky enough to find a temporary job caring for a durian and coffee farm in a remote village in the central highlands of Vietnam. My daily wage is 200,000 Vietnamese dong, which is nearly $8. The work isn't regular. I only work when the farm owner needs help. It's unstable, but on the bright side, the owner lets me stay for free in an abandoned house right next to the farm, saving me all housing expenses. After a few days of hard work, I finally received my first pay today. Now, come with me to the local market to buy some groceries and treat myself to a better meal after days of humble eating. This morning I woke up around 5 a.m. to travel to the nearest local market, which is about 20 kilometers away. The road here is very rough. It rained heavily last night, leaving many sections flooded and covered in slippery red mud, making the ride much harder and taking longer than expected. It took me over 30 minutes to finally reach the market. I took a walk around to look for some groceries. People here go to the market very early so they can get back home in time for field work. There are no supermarkets here, just small grocery shops and modest local stalls with vegetables, fish and meat.
Bán làm sao chị?
75.000 ký.
Cá gì đấy chị?
Cá chạch, cá lóc, cá chép cũng có.
Cỡ 6-7 lạng thôi ạ.
6-7 lạng hả?
Dạ. Con nhà nhỏ có không chị?
After walking around and asking for prices, I decided to buy an 0.8 kilogram red tilapia for 50,000 Vietnamese dong, which is about $1.8. The fish seller was genuinely sweet and welcoming. She didn't just strike up a friendly chat that put me right at ease, but also happily cleaned and chopped the fish for me, completely free of charge. The simple, warm kindness of the locals here really comforted me after that long, muddy journey. On the way out, I picked up some fresh vegetables for 10,000 Vietnamese dong, about $0.3, to cook a nice bowl of fish soup.
Đó. Cá này 5-7 nghìn nữa sao á?
Nó phải ruột thì nha.
Seeing that the seller had a lot of leftover fish offal from previous customers, I asked if I could have it. Back at the farm, there are 2 dogs that haven't had any meat or fish in a long time. She happily agreed right away, gathered it all up, and carefully packed it into a separate bag for me.
Của con tổng cộng là 77 phải không ra?
Since the farm already has plenty of homegrown vegetables, I didn't buy any more. Instead, I decided to pick up some pork for the next few days. The market is far away, and travelling takes a lot of time and effort, so I bought enough at once to save for upcoming meals. I stopped by a nearby meat stall and bought half a kilo of pork for 60,000 Vietnamese dong, which is just over $2. Pork prices around here have been quite high lately, but I consider it a worthy investment for better meals over the next few days. Right next to the pork stall was a dog meat vendor. In this rural region, dog and cat meat are still commonly consumed and sold openly at relatively cheap prices, similar to pork. As an animal lover, it truly breaks my heart, and I would never eat it. While I deeply wish this practice would eventually change, I realise it's a long-standing local habit, and as an individual, all I can do for now is hold firm to my own principles. The fruit stalls looked so fresh and delicious, but with a tight budget, I had to walk past without buying any. With everything packed up, I left the market and started my way back to the little house on the farm. By the time I got back, it was just past 6 a.m. In total, I spent 120,000 Vietnamese dong today, which is about $5, 50,000 for fish, 60,000 for pork, and 10,000 for vegetables. Here, the cost of living is very low, and with no rent to pay, I feel so much lighter and stress-free. Even though the manual work is tough and I have to endure the rain and sun every day, I get to enjoy a peaceful life, far away from the city hustle. I'm going to start cooking right away, preparing meals for the whole day, so I can hurry back down to the field for work. First, I thoroughly wash the fish offal I got from the market and cook it carefully so I can mix it with rice for the 2 farm dogs later. I add just a touch of seasoning to the dog's food, enough to make the fish smell nice and savoury so it's easier for them to eat. Now I'll start cooking for myself. The first thing to do is wash and cook some rice. I'm making a bit extra so that when I come back from work at noon, I can just eat without spending time cooking again. With this red tilapia, I'm splitting it into 2 dishes, sour soup and braised fish. I pick the fresh greens and give the fish a thorough wash. The head and tail are perfect for a refreshing pot of sour soup, while the 3 thick middle cuts are set aside to be braised with rich flavours. A single fish cooked 2 delicious ways like this will easily last me through tomorrow. While waiting for the sour soup to come to a boil, I take the chance to start braising the fish. This way, I save time and get 2 hot dishes ready for the whole day. The soup is boiling nicely now, so I add in the taro stems and bean sprouts. Seeing the steaming pot of sour soup smelling this good is already so comforting. The braised fish is finally done, filling the small kitchen with a rich aroma. Now I'm going to grab a quick bite so I can get ready to head down to the field for work. After finishing my meal, I quickly tidied up the kitchen, then took the pot of cooked fish offal and mixed it with warm rice for the 2 dogs. The rich fish aroma had them waiting around, wagging their tails excitedly. It was just so adorable to watch. It's been so long since they last had a good meal of fish, so they were absolutely thrilled, devouring every bit of it. Even though they actually belong to the farm owner who asked me to look after them, I've grown deeply fond of both. Living here can be lonely at times with no friends around, but these 2 are my loyal little companions, always tailing me down to the field to keep me company. After finishing my meal, I shouldered the brush cutter and walked down to the field. The path down is quite steep and winding. Today my job is to clear the heavy weeds around the coffee trees so they don't compete for nutrients, which will also make the upcoming harvest much easier. The farm owner asked me to finish as soon as possible, so I'll do my best today. I work out in the field for 8 hours a day. The brush cutter weighs about 12 kilograms and vibrates constantly, making my shoulders really sore. Being new to this, I was a bit clumsy and nervous at first, but as time went on, I got the hang of it, and things went much smoother. Thank you so much for watching today's journey. Even though starting a new chapter in life comes with many hardships and challenges, I believe that with perseverance, everything will be all right. I wish you all good health, peace, and everyday happiness. But for now, it's time for me to get back to clearing the weeds. See you all in the next video.